the Sweet Peas. More than Zack. To see who will be our first. On the other hand, and already gone is halfway. Lands a nice right cross. Oh my god! Go! And no! Undefeated, undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Zack, the Sweet Peas. Now you guys are probably wondering, what was that intro and why did I post that? Well, I'm here to talk about one of my friends, one of my best untitled boxing players I've ever met in my life. Not only did he challenge a lot of people like way back, and he still fights till this day. I made this because he's like a close friend. I've known him for quite a while, and this is just a small documentary on him. It's cringy and all, but it's worth doing. I don't mind doing this because I was like suggesting, should I do documentaries? I'm not really the type of person to do it, but here we are doing a documentary on Zack, our undefeated UBGC fighter. He's not only just a welterweight champion, he's also undefeated and record of 5-0 currently. 5-0 currently. But anyways, let's get to the video and start talking about him now. Now this is gonna be the original story of Zack, the Sweet Peas. Now this takes way back in April 1st or 6th, or I hosted my first ever UBGC. That's where I met Zack. And mainly from Trulo's server, but that doesn't change it. It's whatever. I met Zack in April, kind of, and that's also when I on Trulo's live. From there, I was like, how about I start my own UBGC? And that's when it was born, April 6, 2025, I'm pretty sure. And from there, that's when Zack first appeared, April 6, 2025. He showed a great fight. I don't have any footage of it, but nor does Zack, which kind of sucks. But that first ever fight I ever saw was probably his debut. Pretty much was shocking. I was very amazed, and I was watching this fight and I was just really impressed by his performance. So what I decided to do next, the next untitled boxing event I did was UBGC 2. And that's where the welterweight title was given to him after he won against Kine. And having a professional record of 1 win, 0 losses, he stands 4 studs tall, representing or fighting out of Alliance Mixed Martial Arts, representing the USA, Zack, the Sweet Peas. And that's when he was still forming up his build and his way of setting up good shots, and just honestly just upping up his game a bit more. And just by watching some of these clips, he actually did really well, and it was a very close fight as well, despite Gon landing the most ults, while over here Zack didn't land that many. The thing is that a lot of people favorited Gon, so it could possibly put a lot of pressure on Zack during that fight and during that time. But most people have favorited Gon more than Zack. So we can have the upper hand, and already Gon is halfway. Lands a nice right cross. Ooh. And after that barrages of those M1s, that did quite a lot of damage. which means Gon was possibly around like half health at that time. But it's still he was the first one to go down first, actually, which kind of sucked, but that didn't stop him from fighting. Gon trying to stop the attack with a few shots. I got this. Counter Zack, another counter. Gon landing a few good shots. But still, I got this. Oh, nice counter. As my best friend is taking. And after Rai getting back up, and he just kept on going, and then you know, after a while, he ends up doing another barrages of M1s and knocking down Gon, and he still kept going. They still kept going, and so while watching this, I was just was very impressed by all this, and I decided to put him at pound for pound right after this fight because of how good he just was. He was just so good. Even if you managed to do a lot to him in the first round, the second, the third, you're gonna get KO'd. You're just gonna get KO'd. Simple as that. 3 KOs down, you go down 3 times. What else can I say? Zack doing his best. They go back to fighting. Nori, oh, Gon is hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt badly. Really badly.
I got this. Boy.
Trade right in the middle.
I got this.
In the middle. Zack trying to end the fight. Gon is trying to end the fight. Full fire super low. Zack is in trouble.
絶対は僕だ。
Oh my god. Standing. We're going to be able to make it out of the lot alive. Zack. Oh, Zack maintaining. As you could probably tell, I was very shocked and I just saw this happen, and I was just like, what? No way! The new welterweight champion, freaking Zack over here. And I was just, I had no words. I really didn't. I had no words after that whole situation with Zack just beating Gon, even though he was the most favorited out of Zack. Everyone didn't think that he would actually, win and just knock him out with just barrages of M1s. How crazy that sounds? Like, just M1s. I mean, sure, that's quite normal and all, but if you think about it, people are now starting to use M2s to end fights or setting up shots, Third round, winner by knockout, Zack the Sweet Pea. Winner and now undefeated, undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Zack the Sweet Peas. And right after this fight, I think I gave him like 50 grand or 25 grand. Not that much coins in that game. He was probably he's our first ever welterweight champion of the world in my little small organization, of course. He is also undefeated still till this day, and not only that, he's on a winning streak of like 5 wins, something like that. That's quite a lot. And that's what also made him the pound for pound #1 ranked UBGC fighter in the world. And his next fight was in June 30th, which was UBGC 4, and that's where he had to defend his title against Kurta.
And as a former champion in the welterweight division, Zack, the Sweet Peas.
And now this was a big moment for Kurta because he was on a losing streak of three or two, from what I remembered. And if he beat Zack, he would have taken Zack's belt, and he would have been one of the few fighters that actually, took a belt with a very low record, very horrible record, yet gets a belt with 1 win and 3 losses. That doesn't make any sense, but that's just how it would have worked, And at that time, Zack was on a winning streak, undefeated still, and he was just forming up all these shots, and he ends up landing a nice ult at the end.
UBGC champion of the world, Zack, the Sweet Peas.
And this was a big moment for Zack, and he just knocked out Kurta, and that was probably one of the few biggest wins he's ever had besides from the other ones. And not only that, he's just undefeated at this point. Literally no one can beat him, and yet there was after a while I wasn't sure when to do the next Untitled boxing event, so I was like, if there's El La Noche, which UFC was doing, I'm like, you know what, maybe I should do the same thing, but just on a different day, and it's in a video game, so it doesn't, and that's what we did. And this time it was a rematch between Gon and Zack, which the next Untitled boxing was UBGC 110 El La Noche. But the thing is that when that fight happened, it looked to me, everyone was looking like there's not that many people there for that event, so we kind of had to scrap it. And the reason why was because on that certain day, there was an admin abuse for admins, I guess, Untitled Boxing was doing, so we picked the wrong day to do it. And let's just say Gon lagged out really badly. And not only just that, when they were both fighting each other, they just were it was such a close fight, I would have said, but everyone already knew that Gon was gonna lose that fight really badly because he got damaged really badly while Zack was still had a lot of health, and that was just a very shocker to me. But then when Gon, for some reason, I don't know what happened, but it made him reset. We had to scrap the fight. We didn't know what to do from there, and there was constant arguing whether or not that should have count because of Zack beating Gon really badly, and everyone was seeing this and just yeah, we don't know what to do. I wasn't sure what to do, and that was pretty much it for that one. And now he's gonna be fighting this week on Friday around the same time, or not really, actually, yeah, definitely UBGC 115. He's gonna be defending his title against Divine after Divine lost to Gold, and now he moved to middleweight to fight in middleweight. But since there was literally no one new besides one new fighter, we had to put him against Zack. So now Zack has to defend his title on should be October 10th, 2025, Friday. We'll see who if I'm stuttering a little bit, but you never know, Zack may defend his title. He has to defend it. And if you made it to the end, please go check out Zack's friend, and also massive shout out to Zack. Yeah, to be honest, he's kind of the reason why the Untitled Boxing thingamajiggy is still here. Cause, well, not really just only him, but 404, Gone, the big three. I nicknamed them the big three because they're really good and all. They're kind of the reasons why it kind of started. So shout out to them, and please go check out Zack's friends TikTok. They're always live. They're very, very active with the chat. So might as well go by and say hello, talk about how his day's been, whatever. He's very active with the chat. So that's good. Not most people are that active with the chat, so go check him out. Anyways, bye.